I generally take a woman and I divide her in two. There's her natural feminine essence, which I call the goddess, and then there's the artificial personality, the construct, which I call the idiot. If you thought this was going to just be about being kind and no, okay. So I call it the idiot. It means it's a construct. Most people or most women are totally identified to their constructs, and they invest all their resources or their creative energy to build the construct. And the construct is very rigid. It's essentially a coagulation of concepts, ideas, grids that become rigid, and these rigidity create literally an appearance, a physique, a facade, and that's expressed through the body as well. In other words, it's tension. Tension means what's false. We can say it like this, okay? So when you as a man are interacting with a facade or with a tension, well, what are you getting? You're getting what society put in her, what culture put in her, what her religious background put in her, what her ancestors put in her, like the code that technically allowed her to survive for some time. So it's an idiot, but it's a necessary evil, dare I say. But that's not her. But the woman thinks this is her. Let's say she calls that thing Melanie. This is Melanie. And I'm Melanie, and I like this, and I like Taylor Swift, and I did this, and Melanie had a trauma, and Melanie was dumped, and then Melanie will tell you the story of when she fell in love, and the guy cheated on her with her best friend, and it hurts Melanie. It's fucking dumb. I can't say it otherwise, okay? It's dumb as fuck. And you as the guy have to put up with this. Well, maybe then you're a moron, and you fall in love with Melanie. I don't know how you can fall in love with Melanie. Melanie's a fucking moron. It's not a real person. It's a construct. Now, as the woman matures and our modern society creates these images of empowered women, Melanie becomes more and more elaborate. And tension is also, you can create tension to force circulation. So when you see a super Melanie, what does she do when you look at let's use my favorite example, which is Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is a character, it's a construct. Yeah, but the construct is so precisely created that everything about her is there to generate in you a form of arousal and friction to make energy, what you think's energy is to circulate. When a woman wears high heels, what is she doing? Why is that arousing you? This is part of Melanie. It's a construct. I don't have a problem with high heels. Don't confuse shit. But why does she put high heels? It's a construct. When she puts a high heel, she's putting herself, she's literally, when she's on the high heels, in order for her to have balance, her body has to tense up so it holds. Tension, when it's precise, creates a form of energy circulation. If I create a tension of my left bicep, well, and I hold it and it's not too tight, there's a form of action, which looks like there's a motion and there's a movement, which kind of mimics life, but it's coming from a tension. When that's not perfected, and I can take that and I can throw it around, or I can project it on somebody, I can arouse motion in them. Now that's deep. Maybe you don't understand that. But one thing is for sure, Melanie, or whoever, that the artificial construct, the reason she's devoted to that is because it's giving her power. And the more she develops the construct and the more elaborate she becomes, the more she's able to trigger, depending if she's good at it, arousal in men who are aroused by ideas, fetishes, concepts, and whatnot. Why are you aroused when you see fake tits? There's nothing arousing about fake tits. That's the reality. It's something in your mind is triggered. So in the same way, when a woman walks in a particular way, why is it arousing? Is there something arousing? Is it even genuine? It's an artificial walk constructed to generate a specific kind of tension or reaction in you that you associate with arousal. So all I'm trying to say is that the construct, the Melanie construct that the woman dedicates generally her life to, gives her a lot of power. It may be a lawyer, it may be a doctor, it may be a prostitute, a real one, not a fake one. It may be a victim of some sort. Anyway, whatever that is, that gives her a form of power and identity that she can then use as collateral to negotiate for things in the world. Responses in the world. So you as a man, you're going to go interact with Melanie. But that's not the goddess. That's not her. That's not the organic person. That's a construct. It's literally tensions. In some cases, the tension is mastered, which gives you very strong experiences. I'm not denying that. It's still a construct. When you see these very beautiful, polished women, like this woman, everything about her, her nails are perfected. Her hair is perfected. Her dress is perfect. The way the dress is dropped on her. I'm thinking about a woman I just saw. I was on my bicycle and I saw her. I was at the light waiting to cross the street, and she was right there. I couldn't help myself but just look at her. And I wasn't drooling. I'm like, everything about her was perfect except her hair. Her glasses were perfect. Her dress was awesome. She was a dark melanated woman. Her dress was perfectly colored and matched. It had purple and yellow and perfect colors. The dress wasn't too short, but it showed her nice, beautiful bosom. Then I looked at her shoes, and the shoes were just perfect with a little like thing around. And then I looked at the nails, and the nails were perfect. Everything about her was perfectly polished. But she wasn't a hoe though. But I couldn't help myself but to look at her polished appearance because it commanded a form of attention. Because she put so much effort. Now she could have weaponized this to draw me even further in and entice me due to the tension. All of that is tension, right? Imagine you have to walk with those perfect shoes, have those perfect nails, have that perfect hair. That's a lot of tension. You have to hold your persona, right? So sometimes the persona can command you and say, you come and talk to me now. And there you go as a man. You can't help yourself. You got to go and talk to her. You don't even know why. And you think you want to go talk to her because she's pretty. It's like, no, it's the persona and all the effort and tensions that she uses to command you to do something. But you don't realize that and you think you're the man. Anyways, the game of tension is a very complex game which a lot of women, some women, master. So when you're going to go meet her, who are you going to meet? You're going to meet the master of tension. And you as a guy are looking for a release and you want her to give you the come of your life, which is to stroke you and play with your nervous system in a way that it squeezes you just the right way so that you get exactly the feeling that you're looking for. All I'm trying to say is that whatever it is that we're dealing with, that thing that you call Melanie, that can be very powerful in mastering the capacity to generate tension, sustain it at the perfect level to reach a certain kind of frictional orgasm that gives you the release of a lifetime, that a person spends years to master this. Years. You understand what I'm trying to say? Let's give you a side example. Let's say the guy is very good at, you know the song, it's the original song, I forget by who it is, but killing me softly with this song, strumming my pain with this finger. The guitarist is literally creating a tension constantly, which is hitting a note in the woman that is making the woman respond. So that's a tension. He's playing with a tension and he's shaking. He's just like tickling. The woman, with her construct, is able to generate the same kind of effect on you as the guitarist has on a woman, for example, to get the response she wants. And women in the modern age think that this is power. And in a way, it is power, but it's power based on tension. It's literally tension. It's her mind that's tense. It's an idea that she's trying to achieve. She's molding herself to fit into an idea of herself that commands power. This is the basis of witchcraft, okay? So she's able to do that, and that commands a response from you. Yeah, but it's all tension, and that tension is literally cutting circulations in certain part of the body, enhancing circulations in other parts of the body and nervous system, which gives her some kind of electrical feeling, if you're receptive to it. What I'm trying to tell you is that that's not the goddess. Well, it's clearly a form of goddess, but it's a tense goddess. It's an upside down goddess. I don't call that a goddess. I call that a witch. But that's my language. It's irrelevant. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So when you, as a man, are interacting with that girl, if you are a man who's aroused by tension, you love Melanie, you want to fuck Melanie, all you want to do is bang the shit out of Melanie, because Melanie is she's your refined sugar, and you want some of that. She's your cocaine, you want some of that. She's your bliss, you want that, because Melanie is able to tensify your system so perfectly and play with your own fantasies and fetish that you get exactly the fix that you want. But if you're sober as a man, well, like I said, I looked at the girl, yeah, I appreciate the effort. I like beauty, so it's like, yeah, I appreciate the effort that she's put in to create that appearance. I couldn't care less. You can't hide from me, in other words. Remember, women use fashion makeup and everything around to hide from you and present a facade. This is literally built into fashion. It's literally built into cosmetics. I'm going to show you what I believe you want to see to create a reaction in you so that you don't really get to see me. And I'm going to make you do what I want, but I'm never going to give you me because all you really wanted was what I showed you. That's why I said the woman is the mistress of illusion. And this is not complicated to understand. You walk down the street and you see an illusion. And this is not a criticism. This is just literally in pop culture. Her hair is done. What does that do? An effect. Her face is done. What does that do? An effect. Her dress, her way she's dressed, the cut of the dress, the fabric of the dress, how the dress falls on her, at what level it is, the accessories, all of that is part of the character that the illusion that she's trying to create to generate an effect in you. Now, if you fall for it, which is generally the case, fake titties are part of that, all of it is that, then you fell for the first level of trap. Some women have more nuances. They'll now use emotions as a way to trap you. Because some guys like that kind of emotion or that kind of feeling. So then they can use an emotion or play a certain kind of emotion to take you away from being in relation to her or seeing her. You understand what I'm trying to say? All of that, and that construct can be very complex if the girl is very good and her witchcraft is extremely refined. Generally, it's basic first level because they shit at what they do. But some are really good. Some are really fucking good. Anyways, the point is, all of that is what I call Melanie. And as long as you are addicted to drugs, that's what Melanie provides. Tension. When you now start to, when you lose the appetite for refined sugar and you want some real sweetness, well, attention doesn't give you real sweetness. It gets you high. Now, I ain't got nothing against getting high, but getting high and eating something nourishing, they're two opposites. So as a man, when you lose the appetite for the drug, then you expect something more from the woman. And then you start to look at her differently. You start to want to see through. Because I want to see you. Because what I'm interested is in you. I'm not interested in the facade. Now, I can appreciate the facade. Listen, I like pretty things. I like beauty. I like aesthetics. That ain't got nothing to do with it. That's the way you dress up. That's not you. That's just how you express yourself, dare I say, or how you present yourself to the outside. But it ain't got nothing to do with you. You can't fool me with that. Yeah, you can fool most of the guys with that. People get aroused by... Anyways, this is a whole science of arousing. It's an amazing conversation. We've touched base on some of that in some of the previous videos. Check them out. We can do more about this later. The point is, Melanie offers you intense, if she's good, intense drug. But if you're looking for nourishment, you have to get through Melanie. So the first thing is that you need to understand, what is Melanie? Why does a woman subject herself to Melanie and spends her life or invests her entire life to build a Melanie? So that's a huge question. We've spoken about this, right? But the point is, Melanie is a survival mechanism. Melanie was constructed so that she survives in a very insane world. So she needs Melanie. She's identified to Melanie for the most part. And it protects her from being, overwhelmed by an insane world, insane men, insane elders, insane society. Everything is insane if you understand that. So how do you want, if you want to have access to her, which I call her, the essence that's there, it's the feminine essence, which I call the goddess. How do you want to access that if she's scared for her life and Melanie is running the show? How do you want to access the feminine essence if you yourself are addicted to Melanie? You're addicted to appearance and shape and form. It's impossible. If you're sober, then you're going to expect or demand more of the woman. And if you're respectful in the way that you understand her situation, you have compassion for her suffering, then you start to create a space where she feels she can relax, and then slowly, one layer at a time, Melanie starts to exhale. I'm not talking about the expression of the opposite of Melanie, which is this disgusting shit. No, this is, tension expresses itself in two ways. Like this, or, right? So some of you will understand what I'm trying to say. So as she relaxes, the need for melanin starts to come down, and the essence, the feminine essence, starts to slowly begin to be put in motion. So as a man, you got to be tremendously patient for that. Now, once upon a time, everybody understood this. But today, in this day and age of quickness, and everybody's hungry and everybody wants to get their fix, ain't nobody got the time to cultivate relationships, nor do they want to. They feel disgusted. So the point is, that construct, which I call melanin, only in this example, I could call it by some other name, is literally protecting the woman and her feminine essence, which is vulnerable, like a flower. It's protecting it. So you can't just take it away. That's what drugs do. Drugs smash through melanin, but they didn't because because the woman didn't really relax. It smashed, it raped melanin. Okay? The drugs raped melanin, which then gave the illusion that the goddess was awakened. No, it's all a frictional experience, but there's something about the experience of drug that did create a circulation because we smashed through melanin. So everything that was holding up has been raped, like blown out of the water, and then that obliges a form of circulation. But the whole thing is artificially induced. But nevertheless, there's something true. There's a principle there. So a lot of times that's why people want to get smashed. A woman wants to get fucked the shit out of her because she's hoping that you as a man can break through the resistance so that she can have, and she doesn't care about you, but she can have somewhat access to herself. But the problem is, that's not relaxation. She can't have access to the goddess unless there's a relaxation. The true goddess only emerges through a process of genuine surrendering, relaxation. And you can't fake safety. You can try. You can use all kinds of hacks and techniques that give the appearance that the goddess has appeared, but it's fake. When you understand nuances, you don't get fooled by this kind of witchcraft, if I could call it, or sorcery, if I can call it like this. All this to say, melanin is a construct. It's there to protect the woman in the proper surrounding, when the right circumstances, when the woman feels genuinely safe and you cannot fake it, she starts to relax and then the goddess starts to emerge. That takes a certain amount of time and requires a man who has an interest for it. If the man has no interest for it, doesn't even understand what I'm saying, that's never going to happen. But the techniques of seduction still use those principles. That's why you want to bang her, because you want to have access, you want her to give you the reward of being a man, which is pussy. It's not pussy, it's presence. Presence comes from relaxation, the outcome of which can be, in certain circumstances, vagina. So you're trying to hack into this to get the reward of being a man, but you're not a man because you were not able to generate relaxation, which I think you understand what I mean. But you see, we're still looking for the same thing, even in artificial land. You're looking for the external symbol of your manhood. That's why a man is going to go, this is no disrespect to the gymmers, is going to invest all that energy to go to the gym and build a physique that is beyond impressive, which gives the illusion, it's the external appearance of strength. But internally, he couldn't handle a woman's storm 5 seconds. A real psychic storm. He couldn't handle it. He'd freak the fuck out. So that man is like, he can bench press 400 pounds, but he can't handle a little scrawny little woman when she has a psychic discharge. He freaks the fuck out. Well, that means what? His nervous system is weak. So what we see is a facade of strength. Our modern culture, our modern society celebrates facades. That's why people invest all they have, or mostly, to the facade. And people buy into the facade, buy into each other's facade, but then at the end of the day, they never find what they're really looking for. As a man, you build strength on the outside, and you're like, well, why do I still feel weak? But because you didn't build real strength. And as a woman, you build that external facade of beauty, and then no matter how beautiful you are on the outside, no matter how many millions of men tell you you're beautiful, why do you feel fucking ugly? Well, because you are. Because the goddess is beauty and the goddess don't flow in you, and all that's flowing in you is hypocrisy, lies, and deceit. This is not me being in contempt of you. It's me saying, well, the truth ain't circulating. Your essence doesn't circulate, and it's your essence that's beauty. No matter how the facade looks, that's not you. It's an appearance, it's an illusion, it's a smoke screen. So that's the society we have. So when the faker woman and the faker man meet, the facades dance with one another. And what are they trying to do? Well, the woman is trying to pretend to the man that she's opening and submitting to him and trying to give. And the more the woman is experienced, the more she's had cock, in other words, the more she's a hoe, the more she knows how to manipulate a man, and she has more strings to her instrument to be able to give you the impression that you are the man, and that she has opened herself to you so that you discharge and give her, and you give yourself to her so that she can take from you. And vice versa, the man now also develops the skill set to give you the illusion that he's the man, that he's strong, and he's able to provide for you resources so that you can feel safe, and he can manipulate you to make you feel safe so that you can, quote unquote, open yourself. So that's the trickery that the surface world gives. I'm not criticizing it. I'm bringing it to your attention so that you can understand that there's two things that exist. There's nuances. And at the end of the day, all you got to do is, well, am I satisfied? If you are, it doesn't matter what the fuck I'm saying. If you're not, then it's an opportunity to start, well, studying what you're actually doing. What are the mechanisms I'm doing? What am I really doing? When I'm going out on a date, well, what am I really doing? As a man, what I'm doing? What's my objective? And I'm not telling you you shouldn't want pussy. Of course, as a man, you want pussy. That's never going to change. It's by which means are you going to get pussy? I'm going to take it. Yeah, but pussy is something that's supposed to be pussy, which is the symbol of a woman relaxing and her presence. Now, you can't fake that. So if you want pussy, which means she's relaxed and she's present, you have to build a whole universe to give her that experience so that she can relax. So say, I want pussy, but how are you going to get pussy? Are you going to accept cheap pussy, fake pussy, wannabe pussy, the illusion of pussy? Or are you going to actually work for genuine pussy so that you are, well, genuinely really deserving of pussy? That means you've really achieved a level of manhood that provides pussy, if you understand what I mean. So there's nothing wrong with the basic instinct. It's how we go about it. So that's why I said you need to analyze yourself. Does that work for you? Great. If it works for you, you can tell yourself whatever you want. If it doesn't work for you, then it's time for reinvestigate all these things that you take for granted. There's a lot to discover, as you can see. It's awesome. It's fascinating, and it opens a whole door to the occult. Occult, that means the hidden, that means the invisible, the dimensions of life, the unconscious, the underworld, that most people will never care to look into, yet they control our lives. I got through. Good stuff, girls.